Christina Corbett is Senior Clinical Psychologist with the HSE and is in studio with me now. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for joining us. Right, now, tomorrow in Inishowen in the Gateway Hotel Buncrana, there are stress control classes starting from 6:30pm. What is the stress control programme in Donegal?
Yeah, so Greg, we're running a 6-week stress control programme, and it was started back in the 90s by a psychologist in Glasgow called Dr Jim White. And he found that, lots of people wouldn't come into the psychology service or the mental health service because of stigma. But he knew that, we had hundreds of people in the community suffering from stress and anxiety and depression. And he developed a programme that he wanted to bring mental health services into the community rather than people having to wait on waiting lists, pay for letters from the GP, etc. And he developed a 6-week stress control class. Mm-hmm. And we've been running it in Donegal since 2014 with the support of Magella and Daniel O'Donnell and their charity Donegal Mind Wellness. And we're running it again on Thursday night, as you say, the 7th of November until the 12th of December in the Gateway Hotel. We have had over 6,000 people attend the stress control class in Donegal to date. It's a very easy class. It's hopefully very enjoyable. Lots of your listeners will know about it and will have been to a class. We encourage people, if they haven't been in a while, come back, because we run it. I'm part of it, myself and Karen O'Sullivan, one of the community mental health nurses, run it in Inishowen, but lots of other people run it in Donegal Town, Dunlow.
You don't just service your call once, do you? You to keep it running effectively, you regularly serve it.
Exactly. And you won't remember everything we say from the course. You just have to come. It is so easy. You don't have to sign up. It is free. You come in, you sit down, and myself and Karen present the programme, and it's a PowerPoint. You get a lovely relaxation CD. You get booklets to take home. But of course, we don't remember everything that's said, but you have your booklets to refer to. Plus, we do hope that people come and relax for the hour and a half that it's on. And we have specifically put it on in the run-up to Christmas to kind of help people deal with this very stressful time.
Now, stress it's obviously quite a specific word, but it also covers an awful lot, right? And there are people, so to make sure the right people go to this, define stress, to us. Yeah,
so stress would have a definition where our pressures in daily life, our conflicts, our family issues far outweigh our ability to cope with them. And that's basically stress. We all have stress. It's on a spectrum from low stress to high stress, and we move up and down that spectrum.
And some people thrive on it or believe they do.
Exactly. And we need some stress. I had to be a bit stressed to come up here today and talk to you. It motivates us. It gets us to study. It gets us to work. It gets us to present. It makes us step outside our comfort zones. But too much stress, long-term stress and chronic stress affects our physical and mental health.
And we kind of have to control the stress, presumably, and use it to our benefit. If stress is controlling us, then there's never going to be an advantage to that.
Yeah, and the idea of the stress control classes, that's what it's about. It's not about curing stress. We can't cure stress. Life will go on and there will be stressors. But it's about finding skills, and we teach a number of skills to manage and to help manage our stress and to cope with our stress. And you were mentioning, I was listening on my way up, about exercise. And in fact, there's kind of, a range of skills that we teach people about breaking stress up, problem solving and exercise. And we do in the mental health team, we talk about exercise. It is the most researched and most effective treatment for mental health and physical health. And we talk about that a lot. And it is the one that comes out on our research as having the most significant positive impact on our mental health.
And I do mention that in passing too, but often too in stressful situations or mental health situations, obviously we are the best at putting barriers up for ourselves, and people might say, well, if I do that, this could happen, or what about me joints, or what? We can come up with any amount of reasons, but it could be presumably exercise. depending on your ability, it could be as simple as, I don't know, lifting up and down a couple of tins of beans. Do you know what I'm on about? It's not necessarily about getting out, joining a gym, pounding the roads.
No.
It's about activity.
Yes, and it's about doing something and doing small things every day, you know. We always say to people, walk out the door 10 minutes, walk back, you know, go to the shops, you know, do things. One of the biggest indicators of a deterioration in our mental health is when we stop doing things we used to enjoy. And that is a problem. The stress control classes are all about quality of life. So it's not that one size fits all, but we give a range of skills and coping mechanisms. So if, you know, your mental health, when it deteriorates, it goes towards anxiety, we talk about that. If it's more depression and you struggle with negative thoughts, we talk about that. We talk about not using avoidance, because of course we all avoid things, you know, but rather we talk about meeting stress halfway. So planning for things. So if I have to, like I say, Christmas is coming up, there's going to be family events, there's going to be nights out. If I have to do these things, how can I do them in a way that I'm going to enjoy, but not avoid it altogether?
And you have to look after yourself, don't you? Because, you know, all of the things that you talk about, a lot of people too, and it causes stress. They don't know how to say no to people. They're people pleasers.
Yes.
You know, and they end up taking on too much. And the outside view of them is, sure, they'd do anything for you. They're the best. They never stop. And a person could be stressed to the eyeballs.
And that's why we want everybody to come to the stress control classes. They are for the whole community. They're for everybody. We have done research on it that we have published in the Irish Psychological Society's magazine. We have published international. People of Donegal are now in an international study in the Journal of Mental Health and Prevention, and that can all be seen online. We have shown that people who attend the course, we had 86 people in a piece of research that we did in Colgan Hall in Carndonagh in 2017. And of that group, only 26% were in a normal range of stress. So we all have stress, you know, the usual things, work, school, parenting, family life, all of those things. But by the end of the 6 weeks, 70% of the group were back into the normal range of stress. So they were using some of the skills that we teach.
What about those, and it might not be for this course, but there are others as well too, because, you know, people that are completely devoid of stress may also be devoid of motivation, whatever, which also can be a precursor to depression and what have you. If someone who feels empty in that area would go and teach them a little bit about the positive aspects of stress, if you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, so we do. I mean,
that's a bit backward way of looking at it.
No, well,
there's a big cohort out there that feel that too.
Oh, absolutely. And we would say chronic stress, you know, leads to symptoms of anxiety and depression. And like I say, you can have a range of these symptoms. One of the symptoms of anxiety is not feeling anything at all. And people would often say that to us, say, I'm just not motivated. I would like to be doing things, but I've stopped answering the phone. I've stopped going to the shops.
Yes.
That is a big issue in depression. And what we found is, while the stress control class is for the community and mostly a preventative mechanism for things getting worse, absolutely. But we have shown in the research that it is also effective where there is anxiety and depression. And people's scores on scales for depression have come down after the 6 months, after the 6 weeks, and again 3 months later when we did a follow-up.
Okay.
So
it's
it
a
is
broad audience then, isn't it?
It is a broad audience. There are people from the mental health centre there. There's student psychologists going to help us out, other nurses on the team. You also get the opportunity to meet the mental health team. So we really want to reduce the stigma. So when you're there, you know, I'm there having tea and coffee with you, you know, the nurses are there, the trainee psychologists are there, you know, different people from the team.
But if you want to go there and dip your toe in, you know, obviously you want commitments for the 6 weeks, because, you know, you don't want people coming for a week, that place being taken up, do you? Or?
Well, actually, Greg, we don't mind.
Right, because I know some of these courses, people prefer the commitment.
Yeah, the more you come, every week so week 1 is an introduction to stress. Week 2 is about the symptoms we feel in our body. Week 3 is our thoughts. Week 4 is our actions. 5 is about panicky feelings and sleep. And then week 6 is about well-being. So the more you attend, the more you'll learn, the better you'll do.
And it's proven.
But you you are more than welcome to come to one or all six.
And that's,
of the
I just want to
classes.
speak to those people who it sounds like them, but they don't have they don't have that final push really to sort of take that first step. So it can be as immersive as you want, whereby you can meet people, have a cup of tea or whatever. Or if you want to be a little bit more anonymous and just go and absorb what's there, it's a safe space in that regard as well.
You do not have to be referred. You don't have to sign up. All you have to do is show up, come in. You can sit near the door. You can leave at any time. Nobody's going to ask you to sign in or where you're going or when you're coming back. You sit in. If it's for you, fantastic. If you find it's too much, go. We always say, bring a friend, bring a family member. Women are great for coming in groups. We have had men-only groups in Letterkenny. We found that very successful. But we invite everybody to come. We have put out as much advertising as we can. We have put it out to the schools. We've put it out to the schools, and I'd really encourage 6th-year students in particular at this time of year where they might not be under so much time pressure now to come and find some tricks to help with the upcoming anxiety.
There is an issue there, right, and you hit on it there. You know, there are a lot of teenagers who don't know how they're supposed to feel.
Yes.
Excuse me. They feel, even if they feel good, they feel that they should feel different.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm on about? Because we spend an awful lot of time telling people how teenagers feel, or how they should feel, or whatever, but not, you know, this kind of thing might, in other words, it teaches them what is a good level to be at. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, and it also teaches us, it normalises anxiety or symptoms of depression or symptoms of stress.
But these are strong words now, aren't they?
Yeah, lots of people say to us, you know, gosh, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was going mad. And then they come and they find out why they were having maybe symptoms of anxiety, maybe symptoms of panic, maybe feeling in their body, shortness of breath, palpitations. Maybe they've gone to the GP a number of times and the GP has done some investigations and then maybe said, you know, we think maybe there's a psychological or an emotional component.
The problem with that is your two options often that you're given by a GP is go on drugs or very expensive CBT.
Yeah.
So 50 quid a session.
And
it'll take 10 sessions for you to feel okay. So, you know, I have a slight issue with that, and this is why these things are good, in that, you know, you go to the GP, you do the right thing, you either walk out with a prescription for Xanax or something, which causes incredibly bad bounce back anxiety, or else you're referred to what can be very expensive, you know, if it's just a teenager or a young person or people with that much money.
And Greg, can I say, this is a CBT program, so it's a cognitive behavioural program developed by a psychologist. You are getting it for free. And if you don't come, people, you know, if you don't have any stress, don't come. Fine, you know, and when I was giving the information to the GPs, I was saying to the GPs, if they see anybody in a day that doesn't have stress, then don't tell them about it, you know, and certainly send them to me so I can find out what it is they're doing. But the rest of us have stress, and this is free. And the more people we have coming, the more it supports the rollout of the programme. It is now a national programme. It happens all over the country. They had up to 400 people in a course in Malahide when they did it 3 or 4 years ago. We've had up to 100 people in West Donegal come. There is no limit to the number of people we could.
But even sitting in a busy room is going to be effective, because it can be you can feel incredibly isolated.
Yes.
And to be sitting in a room with, I don't know, could be GPs in there, nurses, it could be solicitors, radio presenters, it could be anyone.
It
just
everyone.
Normalises it a little bit.
It normalises it, and you look around and you say, well, actually, if, you know, I'm not the only one suffering from stress. All of these people have stress, and all of them want to find a way to help make it better. And it's about improving our quality of life. Right.
The stress control classes start in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel on the 7th of November, tomorrow, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So they're focused, and they run for 6 weeks, but you can dip in and out, of course. The Gweedore Day Centre classes, start on the 11th of November from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So that's the Gweedore Day Centre. Letterkenny Library, 12th of November, the classes start there. 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The classes are free, and there is no need to pre-book. Great course for stress. Did it in Clonmany. and they also hope to go to the Gateway tomorrow. So that goes to show someone who benefited from it, but sees the benefit of refresher.
Yeah, great to hear, and more than welcome.
Okay, listen, thank you so much.
Thanks, Greg.
Is there a go-to place online or a Facebook page for people just to double-check the info?
Yeah, if you want to check the Facebook at donegalmindwellness.ie.
Okay. Dr Christina Corbett, Senior Clinical Psychologist with the HSE. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.